Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm going to be reading a book to you. You probably heard this story about Goldilocks and the three bears, and the three bears live in a cottage in the woods, and Goldilocks is a little girl. So let's read to find out what happens in this book. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, retold by Bonnie Dobkin, illustrated by Rajesh Tanwar. Goldilocks and the three bears. There's our word, the. T-H-E. Remember this word, the? All right, let's get started. This is the title page, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once there was a little girl with a bright, happy smile and long, curly blonde hair. Everyone called her Goldilocks. Her hair does look a little bit gold, doesn't it, boys and girls? Goldilocks lived in a cottage by the edge of the woods. Always curious, she wondered what was in those woods. Curious means you wonder about something, you want to find out more about it. And she was always curious about what was in the woods. "May I go for a walk in the forest?" she asked her parents one day. "No," said her mother. "The woods are too big. You might lose your way." Means you might get lost. "No," said her father. "The woods can be dangerous. You might get hurt." "Promise us that you won't go into the woods," the parents said together. "I promise," sighed Goldilocks. Probably sounded more like, "I promise." She sighed a little bit. Well, one day, though, the sun was shining. The air felt fresh and cool, and the branches of the trees seemed to be waving at her. Goldilocks thought about her promise to her parents. "I probably shouldn't go into those woods," she said to herself. But she did. Did she make the choice to disobey her parents and do what they told her not to do? Now, deep in the woods, there was another cottage, and in this cottage lived three bears. Bears. Do bears live in houses, boys and girls? What do you think? Papa Bear was a great big bear with a great big voice. He liked to fix things around the house, and he loved to cook. You see these words that look darker than the other words? We're supposed to read those louder than the other words. Let's see the next page. Mama Bear was a medium-sized bear with a soft, sweet voice. She liked to work in the yard, and she loved to sing. This is Mama Bear. Baby Bear was a very small bear with a thin, squeaky voice. He liked to do whatever his parents were doing. One morning, Papa Bear made a big pot of delicious porridge. He filled 3 bowls up to the very top. Porridge is a word we don't really see very much, but porridge is really like oatmeal. So think about porridge as being like oatmeal. First, he filled a great big bowl. Next, he filled a medium-sized bowl. And finally, he filled a very small bowl with pictures of honeybees on it. "The porridge looks wonderful," said Mama Bear. "The porridge smells wonderful," said Baby Bear. "The porridge is wonderful," said Papa Bear. "Eat up." "Yow!" cried Baby Bear. "This porridge is too hot." "He's right," said Mama Bear, looking at Papa. "Well then," said Papa Bear, "why don't we go for a walk until the porridge cools?" "Hooray!" said Baby Bear, fanning his tongue, and they set off into the woods. Fanning his tongue. Have you ever done that if you take a bite of something that's really hot and you're trying to cool your tongue off? He's like using his hand like a fan. Just as the 3 bears left for their walk, someone came running out of the forest. It was Goldilocks. "Why didn't I listen to my parents?" she said. "Now I'm lost. I don't know which way to go." Did Goldilocks listen to her parents? No. She did not obey her parents and do what they asked her to do. They told her to stay out of the woods, and now she's lost. Then Goldilocks saw the cottage. Always curious, she wondered who lived there. She knocked on the door. "Hello," she said, calling out. "Is anyone home?" Of course, no one was. As she kept knocking, the door swung open. "I probably shouldn't go inside," she said, but she did. Shouldn't go into somebody's house, boys and girls, unless you're invited. The first thing Goldilocks saw was a cozy living room. In it was a fireplace and 3 chairs made of wood. One was a great big chair with a tall back and thick arms. This one. One was a medium-sized chair. It glowed in the light and had soft, fluffy cushions. See this one with the cushions? And one was a very small chair with butterflies painted on it. Can you guess who this chair is for? Goldilocks suddenly realized that her feet hurt. "This isn't my house," she said. "I probably shouldn't sit in those chairs." But she did. First, she sat in the great big chair. The scratchy wood left splinters in her bottom. A splinter is a piece of wood that comes off of a tree or something made out of wood, and it really hurts if it gets stuck in your skin. "Ouch!" she said. "This chair is too rough, too scratchy." Next, Goldilocks sat in the medium-sized chair. The chair was so slippery, she slid right off. Finally, she sat in the very small chair. "Ah, this one is just right." But crash! The chair broke all to pieces. What happened in this picture, boys and girls? Did she break one of the chairs? She broke Baby Bear's chair. "Oh no," said Goldilocks. "What have I done? I've broken the chair." But then she smelled a wonderful smell. Always curious, she followed the smell to the doorway of the kitchen. Do you see how the illustrator that drew the pictures for this book drew this little white curvy line? This really represents a smell, something that she can smell in the air. This drawing right here. On a table in the kitchen, Goldilocks saw 3 bowls. The wonderful smell was coming from them. Suddenly, Goldilocks realized she was very hungry. "I probably shouldn't taste what is in these bowls," said Goldilocks. But she did. First, she tasted the porridge in the great big bowl. "Ow!" she cried out. "This porridge is too hot." And she dropped the spoon. Next, she tasted the porridge in the medium-sized bowl. "Ew," she said. "This porridge is too cold." Finally, she tasted the porridge in the very small bowl. It wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold. It was just right. "Yum," said Goldilocks. "This porridge is perfect." And she ate it all up. Whose porridge did she eat, boys and girls? Who do you think the bowl belonged to that she ate all the porridge? Remember? Baby Bear. So far in the book, she broke Baby Bear's chair and she ate all his porridge in his bowl. Do you think she's making good choices? Do you think she should really be in that house? Now Goldilocks saw a stairway leading up to another floor of the cottage. Always curious, she wondered what was at the top of those stairs. "I probably shouldn't go up there," she said to herself, but she did. What do you think is upstairs? At the top of the stairs, there were 3 beds. One was a great big bed that was painted blue. Beside that bed, there was a medium-sized bed that was painted red. And next to that bed was a very small bed with a blue and red frame. Sorry, there it is. Blue and red. Whose bed do you think this is? Goldilocks realized she was feeling very tired. "I probably shouldn't sit in these beds or lay down," but she did. First, she tried the great big bed. Her head went down with a thunk. with a thunk like a plop. Ugh, this bed is too hard. Next she tried the medium-sized bed. This time she almost disappeared. She could barely breathe. Whew, this bed in the middle is too soft. Finally she tried the very small bed. It wasn't too hard and it wasn't too soft. The smallest bed was just right. She snuggled under the covers and fell asleep very fast. She's in Baby Bear's bed. Well, now the bears decide to come home. A little while later, the three bears returned from their walk. They stopped in surprise when they saw that their door was open. "Oh no," said Mama Bear. "Someone's been in our house." "Be careful," said Papa Bear. "That someone could still be in there." The three bears tiptoed into the living room. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mother Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Papa Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair too, and they broke it all to pieces," said Little Bear. Then they hurried into the kitchen. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Papa Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge too," said Mama Bear. "Well, someone's been eating my porridge, and they ate it all up," said Baby Bear. Do you feel sorry for Baby Bear a little bit? Now his chair is broken, his porridge is gone. Now the three bears rushed up the stairs. Baby Bear got there first. Papa Bear said, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," whispered Mama Bear. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," squeaked Baby Bear. "And that someone is still here. She's still there." Papa and Mama Bear rushed over next to Baby Bear. They looked at Goldilocks. Then they looked at each other. Papa Bear let out a great big roar like, "Ah!" Papa Bear is very angry. Goldilocks woke up. First she saw a very small bear with big wide eyes. Next she saw the medium-sized bear with a worried frown. Then she saw a great big bear with great big teeth and great big claws. Goldilocks shrieked. That means she kind of cried out, "Ah!" She didn't know what to do. She didn't know what was going to happen to her. She's scared. So Goldilocks jumped out of bed, rushed across the bedroom, leaped down the stairs, and ran through the kitchen, across the living room, and went out the door. She ran and ran and ran until she saw her own cottage through the trees at the edge of the forest. So she got out of that house as fast as she could, didn't she? Do you see on her face? It looks like she's very worried. When she got home, her mother and father were standing in the doorway, and Goldilocks ran up to them. "We've been so worried about you," they said, giving her a hug. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you." "But at least you're safe," said her father. "Come in the house. I'll make you something to eat." The parents looked very relieved. They're not so worried anymore. They didn't know where their little girl went. The next day, Goldilocks sat on her front step again. She could see the forest, and the trees seemed to be smiling at her. "I probably shouldn't ever go into those woods again," she told herself. But this is called an ellipsis. When you see this in a book, it means that there's more to come in the story, that it leaves us to wonder what would happen next, because that's the end of the book. Do you think Goldilocks will disobey her parents again and go back in the woods? This book teaches us a lesson, really, that it's very important to do what your mother and dad tell you to do. They want you to do the right thing so that you will be safe. So always listen to your parents. They love you so much, and they want the best for you. See you later. See you tomorrow.